What was the scariest game you've ever played? Maybe it was Outlast, Amnesia, that one Roblox game everyone forgot about. Recently though, I have been trying out a lot of FNAF fan games and honestly was terrified by one of them. This game may not just be the scariest FNAF game I've ever played, but the scariest game I've played in a while. A Shadow Over Freddy's. Surprisingly, I don't see a lot of people talking about this game for how good it actually is. I'll be talking about the gameplay of each night, the story, and why I loved it so much. Quick warning though, this game is scary, but the best parts of it are when it gets dark and extremely disturbing. When I say that this game is one of the most unique fan games out there, I mean it. So, without wasting any more time, let's go dive into the most terrifying FNAF fan game you never heard of. Night 1. The game starts us off with static and a bunch of sentences to let us know what happened. We wake up on the floor of the office in a lot of pain with the taste of blood on our tongue. We have no idea how we got here or even who we are, as it seems we now have amnesia. Getting up, we pick up a flashlight which allows us to see our surroundings clearly for the first time. This place feels familiar, but not in a good way. Our instincts tells us that we have to get out as quick as possible, with the last sentence that we get saying, "Welcome to Freddy Fazbear Pizza. It's great to have you back home." Being thrown into the game, things are already off-putting. There's no such thing as color here. Everything is in black and white. This place is in complete darkness, with the only source of light that we have being our flashlight. Without it, we have no way of knowing where we are. Unlike in other games where we have to wait until 6 a.m. to beat the night, each night here we get a new goal, and we have to beat that goal before 6 a.m. or else something will hunt us down. For night 1, our goal is very simple. Find the exit. This game is also kind of open roam, which means we have the ability to walk around, but in reality, we don't have that much movement. The way you move around this game, you click the direction you want to go and reach that new area. When you make it to that new place, you can look around. This concept is actually a lot more terrifying than it sounds, as you have no control of your body whatsoever if something is close to you. So if you need to run, you won't be able to. This forces you to be extra careful not to be trapped by anything, or else you'll get attacked. The first night, I know nothing's actually chasing me or even looking after me. However, the atmosphere, the sounds, the ambience, the creepy visuals, everything, it's so off-putting that you just imagine something is chasing you here. Now, as long as you find the exit before 6 a.m., you should be fine. This was more of a tutorial level of how to walk around, so if you're playing this game at home, take your time to familiarize yourself with the surroundings as well as the mechanics of how to look around, how to use your ears, and how to walk. After a while, you'll be able to find the exit, but things aren't what they seem. The exit is completely blocked off, with static taking over our screen. That is when text pops up on our screen. A set of eyes pulls us to safety and offers us a story. Saying yes will make them tell us this exact story and reveal their empty, white eyes. This story is about a boy whose dog took away his robot toy. He was a lonely boy who only had his toys to be his friends. A mannequin, a teddy bear, a dress-up doll, and a toy robot. He didn't play with the dog much, so when the boy was taking the robot away from him, the dog was happy, thinking it was going to be a game of tug-of-war. The boy didn't see it that way, putting his hands on the dog's neck until snapping and killing the dog, he leaves it in the backyard. And when his parents find the dog, they bury it in the same spot they found him. This is the first of many stories that happens after each night, and it's quite disturbing. I'll try to explain everything in the end to the best of my abilities, so let's continue. Night 2 is where our first real challenge starts. Night 1 was creepy due to the ambient sounds in the background as you walk around with the creaks of floorboards and the subtle laughter in the distance. Now, you really have to pay attention to any kind of sounds because Bonnie is now looking for us. Sound is very important for this game, so wearing headphones is extremely necessary. The first night introduced us to the walking mechanic. The second night shows us the listening mechanic. Right-clicking in a direction that you can walk to will zoom it in for us and let us listen in closely. This is how we know if there's something waiting for us in that direction, as we cannot see that far in the darkness, nor can we see inside the rooms that we pass. For night 2, our goal is to simply follow the music. When we right-click in a direction, there'll be a faint music box that can be heard, which will get louder when we get closer to the source. This level was difficult, as there could be moments that I forget to listen in a certain direction and get completely jump scared by Bonnie. It took me a couple of tries, as Bonnie seemed to really hate me for some reason, always showing up near the source of the music box, but eventually I got to the right place I needed to without dying, which was the backstage. Once we find a source, again, static takes over the room, where the figure with only 2 eyes pulls us back to safety, asking us if we want to hear a story. If you've been paying attention, before only their eyes were visible, but now we could see part of their head as well. Not showing much, but it's progress. The story he says now for this night is about the same boy who is trying to sleep but keeps getting woken up during a thunderstorm. That is until he notices a shadow outside his window with white eyes, similar to his dog. That shadow stole his toy robot and ran into the direction where his dog was buried. Picking up his toy, he noticed it was shaking its head quite a bit, almost like it was given life for some reason. He got happy from that and took it home. That's the end of the story, but it is going to be extremely important to remember, so keep this incident in the back of your mind. Night 3. This night tells us that standing in one place for too long will cause things to come to us. If a shadow is in the same room as us, it'll wait for us to move before attacking, so we need to find it in order to scare it off before walking. This kind of complicates things. We can't stay in one place for too long, but we can't rush or else a shadow that we don't notice will attack us. Chica is now hunting us and is much harder to notice. Not only that, but she also moves slower than Bonnie. The goal for this night is just to enter the kitchen. Before, we could just sit around, slowly taking our time, making sure nothing was around us. Here though, they know exactly where we are if we're too slow at moving, so we have to constantly keep moving around. The worst part about this? Chica is so quiet and hard to notice walking around. Even while trying to be careful, she could be next to us without us even realizing it. Sometimes, forcing us to be trapped in a corner, waiting for both of them to walk past. The difficulty of each night definitely spikes each time, which only makes everything even more terrifying. It doesn't make the game feel unfair, it just makes you pay attention to your surroundings more, which causes any unexpected jump scares to affect you much more. You can't just go into the kitchen though, you need to somehow make it to the break room to get a key, then walk all the way back to the kitchen without getting caught. This will take you a couple tries, since, once again, Chica's really hard to notice, and you will need to move constantly. Finally, making it to the kitchen, there appears to be a bunch of wires in here, and then static taking over the screen. This doesn't seem like the kitchen. We've had many different incidents up to now of things not being what they're supposed to be. For example, the exit being completely walled off, almost barricaded for some reason, either keeping something away from us or forcing us to stay inside. The figure with white eyes pulls us out again, but this time, we could see its face is a lot more visible. Still hidden, but slightly more visible. This new story offers us is about the boy who is fascinated with his toy robot, who seems to be alive, and quickly becomes obsessed with finding out how. This obsession would soon become deadly. His father was an alcoholic who was very aggressive and abusive towards him. The boy wanted to use him as a test subject. In his right hand, he had one of his dolls and went to the garage to tamper with his father's car. This resulted in a car accident. He got the doll that was under a car seat and returned back home, staring intensely at the doll, looking for any kind of spark that his robot friend had. But nothing. The vessel he made for his dad was useless. Frustration caused him to rip that doll apart and throwing it away. He felt no remorse or guilt for what he had done. In fact, he already started to plan out how he could continue his next move. Like I said, this story gets pretty disturbing and dark, which I personally do love. It's trying to explore the motive on this person's obsession with making his toys come to life, seeing other people as just tools to make that happen. Let's continue and see where exactly this story is going to try to take this premise. Night 4 continues, which reveals Foxy. The gimmick with Foxy is that we must return every so often to Pirate's Cove to look inside the curtains in order to stop Foxy from getting out. If we fail to do so, he'll get out and start chasing us. Bonnie and Chica are already scary enough, but walk pretty slow so we can navigate around them pretty easily. But Foxy doesn't walk. He sprints around hunting the player. The goal for this night is to collect the pieces. Scattered around are these white blobs. Out of all the nights, this one took the most amount of time for me, since you need to learn where each of these parts were in order to collect them all. Not only did you need to learn where each part was, you needed to get each single one without getting caught by Foxy, Chica, or Bonnie, as well as checking up on Foxy in order to make sure he doesn't chase you down. At least we do hear Foxy humming in the background to know when he's close to running out. If you do hear that humming, run immediately to his place, look in the curtains to make him stop. After finding every single piece, we are pulled away again. But this time, we notice that it's the puppet from the second game. This revelation changes things. It would all make sense soon. Now, he introduces the boy as a sick, twisted monster. Becoming so obsessed with the idea of giving life to toys, he would begin to stalk children. One night, he found a child outside of a restaurant looking inside, where he would take her life. The puppet then says, You left that innocent girl dead in that alley, happy that you took her life. You, the player, killed that girl. This place was created so you, William Afton, would rot, a place where you would be tortured for the crimes you committed all those years ago. I'll talk more about this story point later, but just know that you are playing as William Afton, the purple guy from the original games. On night 5, things look completely different. Everything is a blood red, and our only goal for this night is simple: escape, We've been trying to escape for the last 4 nights, but we couldn't. But now we need to. We need to leave. I said night 4 took the longest, but night 5 was the hardest. The enemies no longer walk around aimlessly. They are actively trying to hunt you down. Constantly. They want you dead. They want to tear you apart so you could pay for what you did. You, William Afton, need to pay for what you did to those children. As the night passes, your flashlight gets darker and darker. At least, that's what it feels like. It was incredibly hard to see anything at all or where you were going. As you make your way closer and closer to the exit where you need to go, the iconic Freddy music plays in the background, getting louder and louder. After a really long and gruesome journey, we finally make it to the end. But is it really the end? The puppet meets up with us. And talks about our life, about how we died within Springtrap, how we burned, and now our soul is stuck within this prison. This is the last words of what the puppet tells us before disappearing. This is your punishment, an endless night trapped within the abandoned confines of the dream you turn into a nightmare. Inside the place of joy, you poison with your selfish desires. Congratulations. It's your own personal hell. You truly deserved it. My job here is finished. I'm through trying to find humanity in you. Your chances of redemption are long gone, and you have no one to blame but yourself. Over the course of these 5 nights, you fail to show regret for your actions, nor care about anything other than your escape from this prison. You did this to yourself, and as such, I leave you to your fate. This is the end, William. Good riddance. At least, this would be the ending. This is considered the bad ending. There are quite a few collectibles you could get within a night that I failed to mention on purpose. If you somehow beat all 5 nights, clicked all 4 secret plushies, and accept the puppet stories, you instead get the good ending. But I'm gonna be saying quote unquote good ending. The good ending is basically the exact same as the bad ending, except for having a different end screen and unlocking custom night. Now, with the end screen, it is now all in color and has all the plushies present. My theory as to why this is seen as a good ending is because of William Afton is finally showing remorse for his cruel actions. Remember, these are essentially the souls of children. They aren't adults who see things in a mature way. They were forced to leave their bodies and enter an animatronic, unable to move properly. Years of suffering within those suits, all they wanted was to finally get out. This is after the events of FNAF 3, where William Afton, within Springtrap, burns within the fire which sets all their souls free, with the expectations that their children's souls go up, with William's soul going down. But here, the puppet is still filled with hatred and refuses to just disappear without knowing if William really was just a monster without any kind of emotions. This desire to know is just as strong as their anger against their killer, who wants him to suffer more. Why is he able to just disappear without getting haunted by his past? He should be scared like they were. He should be reminded of what he did to them. He should never forget anything at all. So, the puppet made this purgatory for William Afton, a place where he was given 5 nights, only 5 nights, to show if he felt any kind of remorse for his actions. That is what the good ending means. You see, there are 4 plushies that we had to find that are hidden around. The Bonnie, Foxy, Chica, and Freddy plushies. The Golden Freddy plushie doesn't count as that one's required to escape on the 5th night. Each of these plushies representing a child's life that was taken, and if he picks them up, he is showing the puppet that he's trying to atone for his sins. You have to go out of your way in order to get access to these plushies. That is what the good ending is trying to show. The children witnessing their killer trying to redeem themselves for their actions even though he does not need to. He still knows he's going to suffer for eternity, but is trying to communicate to the children that he regrets everything. He is finally sorry, accepting the consequences of his actions and greed. No matter what, he will be stuck here, constantly waking up to be haunted by the shadows he created. A Shadow Over Freddy's. Now, I love this game and did not expect this at all from playing it. The game was terrifying to play with its amazing sound design, but also giving a story that was honestly unexpected. I didn't think this game would have this much of a story, to be honest, so this blew me away. Taking the idea of the purple guy and giving him a reason to being obsessed with murder was genius. Yes, there's the whole FNAF 4 and 5 lore, and the books, and the spin-offs, FNAF 6, blah 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 blah, you get what I'm trying to say. Giving a different reason as to why he murdered children within this fan game and altering the story in order to fit your narrative was amazing. I would personally rank this game 9 out of 10. If you want a terrifying and unique experience, this game is for you. Just be prepared for a lot of game over screens since this game does take some time getting used to the mechanics and understanding which sounds to avoid. If you like this video, like and subscribe. If you find this game interesting, comment something down below about it. Maybe you have another game you want to recommend, or maybe this game is just something you love. In the meantime, I've been extremely tired for talking for so long, so I'm going to take a nap. Peace.